One of the things that makes me most angry about them attempting to deport war resistors is that, you know, I grew up in the 60s when we welcomed draft dodgers and we welcomed deserters, people who had joined the army, mostly working class and poor people who joined the army because it was a job, joined the army because it was a way to get free education, and then they got into the war and realized that the mythology about the war was not the reality about the war, and they wanted to leave. And during the Vietnam War, we welcomed them, and we should welcome them now, because there's even a greater reasons, and certainly as good reason, to resist the Iraq War as there were the Vietnam War. We weren't part of the Iraq War, Canada wasn't part of the Iraq War, and we should welcome war resistors from that war.
Amnesty International members across Canada proudly stand with Kim Rivera and the other individuals here in Canada who, for reasons of conscience, said no to participating in the war in Iraq. And it's incredibly important to stress and underscore that this isn't about politics. This is an issue of human rights. This is all about the right to freedom of conscience. That is what is at stake. Now, for the many individuals who face the very real likelihood of being sent back from Canada to the United States to face prison terms simply because, for reasons of deeply held personal conscience, they felt they could not participate in the war in Iraq. A war, of course, which had many grave human rights concerns associated with it. Their conscience said, I cannot be part of this. They should be protected for having made that choice, not punished and persecuted. The deportation of Kimberly Rivera must not go ahead. If Canada does go ahead with that deportation, we will be in blatant violation of our obligations under international law, and that cannot be countenanced. Canada must instead make a commitment to ensuring that Kim Rivera and the many others who have made that choice of conscience and have now turned to Canada for protection for being punished for that choice receive the protection that is their fundamental right.
I stand in solidarity with Kimberly Rivera. I'm very inspired by her strength in protesting the Iraq War, which is an incredibly unjust war. And our government, the Harper government, rather than punishing her for this, I completely disagree with that. Kimberly should be able to stay in Canada, and we need to continue to oppose the Harper government and their militaristic agenda with the F-35s, the fighter jets, and we need to stand up for peace and in solidarity with Kimberly.
Kim, I want to wish you the best. I want to thank you for your strength, your courage. The war in Iraq was a war based on lies. Your truth gives us all strength. I want to wish you and your family all the best.
And I want to say that our organization is completely opposed to the Harper government's treatment of war resistors. We think it's deplorable. It's part of a militaristic buildup of our country and goes against traditions in Canada. We're also appalled that Kimberly and her children are being sent back to the United States. Kimberly has shown incredible courage in seeing what she saw in Iraq and realizing that what she was doing, she and others were doing, was wrong. She is welcomed here in Canada by most Canadians, and we are calling on the Harper government to find their humanitarian heart and not send Kimberly and her children, two of whom are Canadian citizens, back to the United States where she may face prison. We send love and support to Kimberly, and we continue to fight the Harper agenda and the military buildup of our country.
I just want to say to Kimberly Rivera and her family, we welcome you here, and we're going to do everything we can to stop them from dividing you from your children. I can't imagine anything more terrible than that. I'm sorry that's happening to you, really sorry, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure it doesn't happen.